Hello, and welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. And if you guys didn't notice, it's number 69 today. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe we've actually done this many podcasts, dude.
To be fair, it almost feels like we've done more to a certain extent, but I know we hit a halt in the podcast when we were doing it there at one point, but been pretty consistent for the last almost about a year and a half now. So been pretty consistent with it. I know you've been consistent with the content, so
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just trying to pump out as much stuff as I can over here. It looks like I'm having a weak signal right now, but hopefully it'll clear itself up. Can you hear me all right?
I can still hear you. The video's jumping a little bit, but I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. I truly don't know. They are. I have some people like in my house right now, and I know they're for sure all on the Wi-Fi. So, I am hardwired, so it shouldn't matter too much. But, dude, I don't know. Let me make sure. Yeah, I don't know. Wow, that's dumb. Is it still jumping around though?
A little bit, yeah.
Man.
Yes. Yeah, it's still jumping a little bit, but like I said, audio wise, it's perfectly fine.
All right. Well, in that case, it is what it is. We appreciate y'all stopping by here today. Well, and as soon as I say that, it clears itself up. It stops having issues. That being said, we appreciate you guys stopping by here today. If you guys want to know what we are going to talk about today, Dorian, look how I'm going to do this right now for you. So real quick, the first topic on today's show, we are going to run through this as fast as possible. We are going to do UFC Fight Night PAVLOVICH versus BLAYDES recap, and then we will talk about some UFC fight announcements. Yeah, you like that, D-Rose? Way easier than making two every week. And then lastly on our show, we'll give you our preview and our picks for Ricky Simón taking on Song Yadong. Man, it's going to be not too many fights this weekend, not the most known fighters this weekend, but, I feel like, personally, there's a little bit of cheddar to be made this weekend, in my opinion. But, yeah, so that's our topics on today's show. So if you guys wouldn't be so kind, hit a thumbs up for us before we get started. That would be fantastic. And always feel free to type your thoughts and opinions on our thoughts and opinions in the comments, and we'll respond to you if it's worthy. But usually I'll just click it anyway, even if it's not worthy. But it's all right. So with that being said, Dorian, before we get started too much on today's show, did you make any bets this past weekend? Did you win anything this past weekend?
The best I can say, and this is the best that I've done in a while, is that I broke even. So I ended up having basically a little bit of a chase parlay there at the end because the Francis Marshall loss that really shot on most of everything I have, and then from there I basically made a little chase, had Bobby Green to win on there as well, but of course that fell through, so it went from me being a little plus to the breaking even, but hey, I'll take that over what I've been doing the last couple weeks, and that's been completely losing my ass. So
well, yeah. Well, on my end, I didn't win any of my bigger parlays. I end up hitting like a $9. I mean, a 9-leg, like fucking $1 one. Like the more confident I am, like the more cheddar goes on it. But I think like if I'm not as confident, I'm putting like $1, $2 on it and just hoping it hits, dude. And oddly enough, like the wins that I'm most confident in don't hit. Like the ones that I have like $5, $10 on, those don't hit. But the ones that I have like $250 on, the ones that I'm just kind of like throwing together, like it could happen. Those are the ones that hits, dude. So I don't know, dude. I hit 9-leg $1 to win like 60 something bucks. So I did come up on the weekend. A few weekends in a row now. I'm kind of on a roll. I did lose something and you did win something, but we will get to that here in just a second. But yeah, man, anything before we get started?
No, man, let's as I got World War III going on in the background. But nah, man, let's get it started.
All right. So up first, let's run through this real quick. Give you all the results from the fights this past weekend. Sergey Pavlovich does crush Curtis Blades early round 1, dude. Bruno Silva crushes Brad Tavares early round 1. Bobby Green headbutts Jared Gordon. The fight ends in a no contest. Yasmin Lucindo does defeat Brogan Walker via decision, dude, and that was almost. We'll talk about it. Jeremiah Wells does get a controversial decision win over Matthew Simmelsberger. It's controversial in my opinion. Ricky Glenn does get knocked out early round 1 by Christos Giagos. Montel Jackson does knock out Ronnie Yaya about close to the end of round 1. Norma Dumont, this certified CDL license holder, does get the decision victory over Carol Hosa. Muhammad Usman does get the decision victory over Junior Tafa. William Gomi does get the decision victory over Francis Marshall. And Brady Heaston does get the third round TKO over Dana Bakary, dude. So with that being said, let me ask you this now. Have you watched all the fights at this point?
The ones that mattered, yeah. The ones that mattered, yeah.
All right, fair enough. So, just real quick, let's go ahead and get this out of the way because I know it's been like 2 months now since you've had this. So, our 3 different picks for the pick champ this week.
It's been a month. It's been a month. It ain't been 2.
It's been more than 4 weeks, bro. Come on now. It's been like 7 weeks. You can't say a month is 7 weeks.
Nah, like 5 or 6 or so. What was it?
Anyway, so our 3 different picks this week were Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. Dorian went Curtis Blades. I went Sergey Pavlovich. And Sergey Pavlovich did win that, but it didn't matter because our other 2 picks were Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew Simmelsberger. I went Matthew Simmelsberger, and D. Rose went Jeremiah Wells. And we'll talk about that one. And our last one was Brady Heaston versus Dana Bakary. Dana Bakary was beating Brady Heaston everywhere until he gassed in the 3rd round and then got TKO'd by, in my opinion, a little bit of an early stoppage. But Brady Heaston does get the 3rd round TKO. So that means Dorian wins 2 of the 3 with Brady Heaston and Jeremiah Wells winning. That means I'll see you next week, pick champ. D Rose is the and new this week and new pick champ. Hopefully you can keep it all nice and shined up for me this week because it's coming back home this week. I have some pretty strong opinions. A few of them underdogs as well. I already have a parlay in, man. Were you gonna say something? What's up?
Hey, no, I told you last week that I felt good going into the weekend that we were gonna make it happen and return my baby home. So as TJ Dillashaw said, "Daddy's back, baby. Daddy's back."
Yeah, and oddly enough, I did tell you. I think Friday evening, I was like, bro, I don't feel confident about any of these fights. I'll probably lose the pick champ this week. And sure enough, that's what happened. So with that being said, man, let's just kind of jump into these real quick. We've been on here for a few minutes now. Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades. Thoughts on that fight, man?
For as long as it lasted, it actually ended up being a pretty good fight. And I know a lot of people, including myself, were killing Curtis Blades after the fact for saying that, why wouldn't he go and try to wrestle a little bit more against Pavlovich when, his only loss to Overeem out-wrestled him, outworked him, and ground and pounded him until he finished him. And Curtis Blades, we know that he's got some of the meanest ground and pound when he uses it. And he's a very dominant wrestler when he uses his wrestling, but some people think that he might have gotten a little too confident in his hands over his last few fights, and that does make sense. But he was landing some shots, to be fair. He was landing the jab pretty good, and he was landing that big right hand whenever Pavlovich was stepping in. But I thought the thing that Curtis Blades did that just bit him in the butt was just standing in the pocket and willing to exchange with Pavlovich. I mean, a guy that dangerous, you just can't be willing to, especially Blades not being a true striker. He's a wrestler at the end of the day. I thought he could have used his striking maybe to set up his wrestling a little bit more, but I thought I would have seen a lot more clinch exchanges early on to try to maybe slow down some of that speed that Pavlovich has. And Curtis Blades, again, just gets, so close to a title shot. almost every single time he's in that position. When he lost to Francis Ngannou the second time around, he was maybe a 1 win away from fighting for a title. When he lost to Derek Lewis, he was in the same position, won about 4 or 5 fights in a row. And now he's kind of put himself in the same position, had a couple of finishes with the hands as well. It seemed like he was putting it all together. Maybe one fight away from fighting for the title. And yet again, he came up short, man. So, you feel for Curtis Blaydes, but Pavlovich just breaking through as a true threat in the heavyweight division.
Did you see him get touched up at all? Like, did he look like any of Blaydes' punches affected him? Because I thought for maybe 1 second he was like, okay, maybe kind of stunned him just a little bit. He was like, okay, I can't rush in like that. Did you see that at all or no?
I thought there was a couple of times where Blaydes had landed a jab, and I thought that he had some good pops on some of those jabs that he was landing. And like I said, that right hand he was landing as well. He was landing the right hand pretty good, but that jab especially, he was having Pavlovich kind of backing up and kind of trying to set up his shots a little more rather than trying to just rush straight in and throw bombs as he normally does. And I thought Curtis Blaydes was effective on the feet. I just would have liked to have seen him mix in the wrestling a little more.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. What is Austin saying here? Austin saying, I think Pavlovich also has intangible quality where he can make people freeze once they actually get in the octagon with him. Maybe, dude. Let me just ask you this real quick, D-Rose. Dude, is there any chance on earth that John Jones fights that monster?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just more of not that John Jones is scared, but it's more just an name value thing. I just think that he just wants the bigger fight right now, and I think the 2 biggest fights for John Jones in the UFC would be Stipe, or if they could just God willing make it work, bring Francis Ngannou back and make that fight happen. And I think other than that, John Jones isn't really into fighting these up and comers. He's trying to, basically get legacy fights at this point, solidify himself as the greatest fighter of all time. But the fight that, man, I wish we could have seen, dude, could you imagine previewing a fight between Francis Ngannou and Sergey Pavlovich, 2 of the heaviest hitters, 2 of the fastest punchers? Could you imagine them 2 getting ready to go into an octagon with one another? It's just sucks to see that maybe what could have been, and the UFC and Francis not being able to work it out.
Yeah, man, I agree. Moving on down, co-main event, dude. I guess tell me about you knocking out Brad Tavares this past weekend, man.
Hey, they said we don't talk about Bruno, but hey, we talk about Bruno in this household. Hey, he came in slugging, and in his last couple fights, obviously on the short end of the stick, put up a good fight against Alex Pereira, and he put up a good fight against GM3, and GM3 really cracked him a couple of times. That was one thing that me and you were really surprised about in that fight, that he was able to land on him the way that he was. And I thought for Bruno, just trying to be a little bit more patient and willing to try to set up his shots a little more instead of just trying to stand in there and just go blow for blow with one another. And man, just as soon as he was landing the big combos, I thought Tavares was a little bit more willing to exchange, and maybe he should have been. It looked like he was trying to use a little bit of footwork, but Bruno Silva was just walking him down, and it was I think it was the check jab almost. It was almost like a little short hook check jab that Bruno Silva threw, and that really spelled the beginning of the end. And I know people were talking about the stoppage. I don't know if that was going to be your follow up, but I'll just go ahead and say it. Yeah, I thought it was a good stoppage. There was a lot of people that talked after the fight that said that it could have been early. I know Paul Felder was saying that, it could have been a little early. Maybe he let Tavares have gone a little bit longer. But, man, when he hit the ground, he was looking up at the lights. He wasn't looking at Bruno Silva when he hit the ground, and he didn't really catch himself when he hit the ground. So, for them to say that was an early stoppage, I don't think so. I thought it was a clean stoppage, and I thought Bruno Silva just put the lights out on him. And Bruno Silva, that was a much-needed win that he needed to get to kind of get himself back on track.
Yeah, man, I agree. I can't believe you didn't really have the confidence last weekend. I mean, you almost picked Brad Tavares. You almost leaned that way.
Yeah, no, well, and I know that Bruno Silva is the better fighter, and we've both been fans of him since he's been in the UFC. He's done nothing but pretty much put on bangers for the most part since he's been in the UFC. But just his last couple fights, it was just a little worrisome. Seeing GM3 touch him up a little bit and see GM3 kind of hurt him. So I know Brad Tavares, he's not the most powerful guy, but hey, he can stand in there and throw. And we were talking about with Brad Tavares and Dricus. Dricus landed some bombs and couldn't even hurt Brad Tavares. So for Bruno Silva to knock out Brad Tavares in the way that he did, that's how you know that Bruno Silva's really got power. He's just honing it in and using it better, and that's what I like to see from Bruno.
Yeah, man, for sure. He's for sure got power on the feet. So, feature fight real quick. We got Bobby King Green and Jared Flash Gordon, man. Or I guess after this fight, King against Jared Flash Gordon, man. And dude, I have to let the people look at this for just a second. Bobby Green said that he was throwing an elbow, dude, and I just really have a hard time seeing it when you just see this, because it looked like he was just leading in with his head. Break it down for me here, man. What is this? It looks like he's just literally trying to cover up the fact that he's leading with his head, with his arm, dude.
Yeah, so that first picture doesn't really, the one on the left, that doesn't do King, as you say, that doesn't do really Bobby Green any justice there. But I would say that if you look at the one on the right, it does look like that he is throwing. It does look like he is intentionally throwing an elbow there, and I do think that Jared Gordon, I mean, it's nobody's fault. It was just accidental, but I do think that Jared Gordon, when he slipped off to the side, all he did was just went to slip off the elbow, and Bobby Green caught him with a headbutt. I thought it was unfortunate that, it took Jared Gordon ended up being knocked out before, anything was really said about it. I would have liked to have seen, potentially a reset or so, but no, just didn't like the way that it ended. It was just a hard sequence to watch Jared Gordon get completely crushed just after getting basically, Flash knocked down from a headbutt, and seeing him get ground and pounded, with his lights out like that. That was kind of tough to watch, but feel for Bobby Green at the same time, because he was a little upset by not getting his win bonus. And hey, I can understand that, man. That's that's money on the line that you can't afford to be losing. Man. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, bad technique on the elbow, sure. His head was leaning in a little bit, but I do think as well, I don't think he's a dirty fighter, and I don't think he did it, with any intention of landing the headbutt. Just an unfortunate accident, and in the heat of the moment, maybe he didn't feel that it was a headbutt. Some people were saying that maybe he should have felt that it was a headbutt. How could you not feel that it was a headbutt? But if you're in there in the middle of a fight, man, you're in there swinging, and I'm sure that all that adrenaline flowing through him, he probably wasn't sure and probably thought he did land the elbow. So just I don't blame him for being upset about the ref not stopping it sooner if that was the case.
Fair enough. So Yasmo pretty much was beating up Bergen Walker like Jessica Andrade was beating up Lauren Murphy, dude. Anything on that fight?
Yeah, that might be it for Bergen Walker in the UFC. You think so? Because that was pretty brutal to watch. I was at work, so I was kind of in and out on this fight in particular, but for the most part that I've seen, it was literally every time. I mean, Bergen Walker just getting absolutely lit up on the feet. I mean, it wasn't even close from everything that I've seen.
No, dude, it wasn't close. Dude, so Jeremiah Wells, Matthew Simmelsberger, dude. Simmelsberger drops Wells at the beginning of round 1 and 2, and then right after that just gets wrestled for the next rest of the round 1 and 2, and then all of round 3, dude. I heard split decision. I was like, I expected split decision. When I heard 30-27, 29-28, and then 30-27, I was like, God damn it. I was so pissed off, dude, because I was really rooting for Semi the Jedi there, dude. And dude, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like I said it last week on the pod, dude. But I said every time that he fights, dude, people sleep on his power just because he don't have knockout, dude. He's like knocking people down like every other punch that he hits them with. The dude has pretty crazy power if you're just constantly knocking people down like that. Kind of struggles off his back just a tad, dude, and just he's improving. He hasn't been at the best camps in the world, but I think he is for sure someone to just keep your eye out for. Maybe not a lot of people like him, but hey, I'm still a fan of old Semi the Jedi. Jeremiah Wells does get the decision win though, even though that I thought if you get dropped, dude, you don't get dropped back, you lost that round, and apparently not, dude. Thoughts on the fight, dude?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good fight. You know, a lot of people were most excited for this fight on the card more than most. So I was one of those that I was definitely excited for, and I made sure that I was able to cut a little bit of time out of work so I could, step to the side and be able to finish watching it. And really good fight. And Semi the Jedi, his power is crazy. Just dropping Jeremiah Wells at the beginning of each round. And I think what really hurt Simmelsberger was that we kind of talked about it a little bit in private, but I think the thing that hurt him the most was he hurt Wells at the beginning of the round, and he hurt him like the first 30 seconds, and then the last 3.5 minutes of the round he's getting controlled the whole time. So I think the lasting image in judges' mind is they're seeing Jeremiah Wells on top of Simmelsberger landing big shots on him, and whether that he was showing up or not, just in the judge's eyes, when he's just rearing back and just throwing heavy heat like Wells was, it definitely changed the judge's mind. So I thought Wells was the rightful winner. I thought you maybe could have given Simmelsberger the first round. I thought Wells won the second and third round pretty cleanly. I thought there was a sequence in the second round where it was not too long after Simmelsberger had dropped Wells again, and Wells had gotten up, put Simmelsberger against the fence, and he threw like a 4-punch combo to the head, and he followed up with like a big punch to the body, and all of a sudden he just scoops Simmelsberger and just freaking body slams him like he's Arn Anderson in the WWE going for a spine buster. Like, it was just crazy his ability to recover and then get back into it to be able to win the fight. So Semi the Jedi, his power is crazy. He's not championship material, I don't think, but he's definitely a fun fighter to watch, and he's definitely got some highlights on his reel, and he's a fun fighter to watch. Jeremiah Wells, 36 years old. I keep forgetting that he's that old, but I keep wanting to say he's young, got potential, but damn, he's got a little bit of time, and he's got to make the most of it now. So he's making the push, but he's getting the wins that he needs, and it was an awesome fight.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, what cracks me up though, fucking Jeremiah Wells was so hyped, dude. He was like all angry going in the octagon, like so hyper, like fucking walking back and forth, like he's like, oh, I'm gonna crush this dude. And he come out, took the center of the octagon, ate one jab, and was like, oh shit. He started like wobbling around. He was like, oh, never mind. Plan B.
Hell yeah, dude. It was great. I mean, he always seems to start his fights off weird too, with the Blood Diamond fight when he's running off on the side of the octagon and like gets his toes stuck in the cage and trips and stumbles over himself, dude. Like he always seems to have like the most awkward starts to his fights.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Aside from that, real quick, anything else on that card that you want to talk about? Usman Tafa, Heastan, Rick Glenn, Christoph Giagos, Montel Jackson, Yaya, anything like that? CDL, dump truck driver.
Nah, I mean, unless you had something, I'm pretty much good.
Nah, man. So as we said earlier, Dorian is and new pick champ this week. So hold it while you got it, brother. A Hawaiian 5-0 in here. Go. Aloha, my friend. So congratulations. I mean,
what's up?
Congratulate D Rose. Thanks for stopping by, Hawaiian 5-0. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Yeah. That being said, man, we've got some news and fight announcements, dude, and quite a bit this week. So let me pop this up on the screen and let me pull it up on here just real quick. Anything off the top of your head while I'm being silent?
Yeah, maybe the news that I had seen that there is, and I haven't seen it officially confirmed, so I guess more of a just kind of story out there right now that Kelvin Gastelum is looking to make a move back down to welterweight, saying that he is going to get with one of Dana White's nutritionists and work on a weight cut regimen to where he can healthily make 170 now. And I'm not 100% if that is true. It's just stories that I've seen in different headlines online. But if that is true, I mean, that's definitely a move that I've been calling for Gastelum to make for a long time. And I think that he's fought the best of the best at 185. I think he's kind of maxed himself out as far as potential. And he's still young enough to still where he can kind of make a push. And he's got the ability. He's got the boxing. He's got good wrestling. He's fought, like I said, at 85. He's literally fought everybody that you can think of. Maybe except for Alex Pereira. But other than that, I mean, pretty much fought the who's who up there for the longest of times. And, to have any true championship aspirations, I do think he's going to have a better chance at 70. And I hope he makes a move. That'll be exciting and be fresh new blood in the division to, give that division even more juice.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree with you more. All right, man. So we got a ton of fights this week, man. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, we did that one last week. So up first, Chris Daukaus, Khalil Roundtree. Chris Daukaus moving down to light heavyweight, man. Immediate thoughts on that?
Yeah, Chris Daukaus looked like that he was just walking around with just extra weight when he was at 265, or fighting at heavyweight. He was never really weighing in at 265. He just had just a bunch of extra weight on him. So, it could be a potentially good move, but bad matchup for him. Khalil is an absolute hammer, and that speed advantage. I mean, Khalil's going to have
shows up.
Yeah, I mean that's true for Khalil, but he has been a little more game in his last couple fights. Even though he lost the Dustin Jacoby fight, we'll be honest. He lost that fight and he got gifted the win. I'm a Khalil Roundtree fan, so I don't like saying that he lost a fight, but he definitely lost that fight. But when he's feeling his best, that dude is freaking dangerous, man. So hands are fast as lightning. He will blast your ribs with rib kicks while you're on the ground too. So just be wary of that. And that could be a good fight for as long as it lasts. But if Daukaus' chin ain't what it was, that's the wrong dude to try to get back in there with.
Yeah. Modestas Bukauskas returning after his win over Tyson Pedro, going to be taking on Zach Palga June 17th, light heavyweight. Thoughts on that?
Decent fight. Bukauskas, yeah, like I said, he had that decent win against Pedro and looked good after kind of getting a second opportunity back in the UFC after having a Cage Warrior run. So, and Palga, his last fight was but yeah, maybe Bukauskas can put something together here.
Okay, dude. Okay. Mike Mallet taking on Adam Fugit June 10th, 289. Care about that?
Not really.
All right. Gilbert Burns, Bilal Muhammad, headlines UFC 2, co-headlines UFC 288, 5 rounds. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, that was actually the one that I kind of mentioned that hey, these are rumored to take place as the co-main event. Which one would we want? And your boy did call that. Hey, yeah. I wanted to see Burns and Bilal and they listened. So and it's the fight that makes the most sense for the division, man. It just makes the most sense for it. As far as who's going to be next as the title challenger.
Yeah, Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier, headlines, UFC just fight night, June 17th. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. At 85, a lot of the guys, up top only want to fight one another. And, Cannonier coming off of the title loss, I believe, and Vettori coming off the win against Belize. He fought back in the rankings. Now he wants to fight up, and he's still a top 5 guy. So that's the guy that Cannonier could fight and could potentially be a really good fight. Seeing Vettori's chin get tested again. That'd be interesting to see.
Indeed, man, indeed. So up next, we got Punahele Soriano going to be taking on Cedric Wes Dumas in Jacksonville, June 24th. Care about that one, middleweight?
I like Soriano, so he's always a fun fighter. Puts on a slugfest, so definitely be fun to watch him fight.
All right, Alex Caceres taking on Daniel Pineda, June 3rd. Care about that?
Not really.
All right. I believe I don't know if we've just talked about it, but Dricus Duplessis going to be taking on Robert Whitaker, UFC 290, July 8th. International.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in private, but not on here. That's a banger of a fight. I think I kind of maybe mentioned last week that they're maybe trying to make Dricus the next title challenger, and all of a sudden, I think it was like literally as soon as the podcast was over, they announced that it was Dricus and Robert Whitaker. But I wanted to get your opinion and see. They said that the winner of that fight is likely to be the next title challenger for Izzy. So if Robert Whitaker wins, do you want to see Robert Whitaker versus Izzy 3?
Nah, not again, man. Like, truthfully, like I don't really, dude. That fight doesn't. I don't really like either fighter that much, so it's like like I don't really care too much what happens there. I guess it's just like, well, who's Izzy going to beat next now? So that's the way I look at it. On the same card, though, we got Robbie Lawler taking on Nico Price, dude. July 8th. Thoughts on that?
That's a banger. That's a fight that, two older vets and, Nico Price, he usually puts on a really fun fight. I mean, I've never seen the dude in a boring fight. And Robbie Lawler, pretty much the same way, always going out there and giving it his all and willing to go out there and kill or be killed. So perfect matchup for two old vets and should be a fun one.
Also rescheduled for the same card, Jalen Turner versus Dan Hooker. So I'll be excited to see that. How about you?
Man, they were really determined to put that fight together, even after Jalen Turner taking the fight against Gamrot. I guess that was kind of maybe the UFC looking out for him, trying to get him back for, maybe taking the Gamrot fight, which is the much tougher fight on short notice than Dan Hooker. So maybe they want to try to make it right to him, but that should be a pretty fun fight too. But Dan Hooker is definitely in for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, man. Jim Miller taking on Ludovic Klein, June 3rd, UFC Vegas 74, so fight night. Dude, I kind of want to see fucking Jim Miller come around for the pay-per-views now, like on the prelims of the fucking pay-per-views. Stop fighting fight nights, dude. Like, if you want to make it to UFC 300, you got to stop fighting these fight nights.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, but he's just ultimate company man and always doing his thing. I think as long as he spaces it out enough, he'll be able to make it to UFC 300 for sure. So, just space your fights out a little bit more, and he'll be able to make it there.
Hell yeah. Jack Della Maddalena taking on Sean Brady, also International Fight Week, man. That's going to be a banger. Thoughts on that fight?
Dude, that International Fight Week card is shaping out to be really good so far, and that's another banger of a fight. What I'm really interested to see is, we were talking about it in private as well, but I think Jack Della Maddalena is definitely going to be the betting favorite going in, but I'm going to be really interested to see him fight like a true wrestler, like, up the top of the division. And, Sean Brady's a guy who he was able to control Michael Chiesa, for most of the fight. We know how good Michael Chiesa is on the ground. So I think that's a really interesting fight. And Jack's definitely going to have his hands full, but so is Sean Brady, man. And if Bilal Muhammad was able to kind of touch him up on the feet a little bit, man, yeah, I think Jack's definitely going to have a little bit easier target practice than he's had his last few.
Yeah, man, that's going to be a hell of a fight. Molly McCann taking on Julia Stoliarenko. Care about that?
Good to see Meatball Mac back, and hated to see that she was just served up to give Aaron Blanchfield a name, but glad to see her back, and she'll be fighting in London as well, so should be exciting Molly McCann energy.
You actually sent me this one a few days ago, and I didn't. I questioned whether it was a UFC fight or not. But let's hear your thoughts and opinion on Walt Harris taking on Josh Parisian July 15th at heavyweight.
Well, I thought it was funny that you were actually surprised. You were like, is this in the UFC? Like, yeah, at first I was like, well, yeah, this page only really announces like UFC fights. I was like, well, let me check real quick, because I was like, yeah, you had me questioning. And looked it up, and yeah, sure enough, Walt Harris is still an active UFC fighter, and a lot of people may have thought that the UFC had cut Josh Parisian at this point, but no, he is also still around. And we hadn't seen Walt Harris since, was it the Overeem fight? Is that it? The Overeem fight when he
I thought he got cut. I literally thought that he got cut.
I honestly think he had just been laying low because he took some pretty bad losses there consecutively there for a few of those fights. And that Overeem loss, I'd actually watched that one. It came up randomly in my highlights the other day, or on my page the other day, but man, Overeem put it on Walt Harris, dude, in that last little sequence there. So interested to see where he's going to be mentally after taking so much time off.
Hey, Overeem also put it on Sergey Pavlovich, though, and look what he's turned into.
Yeah, true, but that was also a young Sergey Pavlovich. He's 25, 26 years old, where Walt Harris was 38 when that happened. He's going to be 40 when he returns. So, yeah, that's going to be a little bit different.
What's going on, Daniel? A little late. Was watching Goodbye 2022 Panini UFC. Yeah, I didn't really think about that as I was making that video earlier, and then uploaded. I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna be uploading to I uploaded a video at like 8 p.m. and then now's the podcast at 8:30. So probably wasn't the best idea, but hopefully like the majority of the people will like stop watching the video and just run right into the podcast. It just like leaks over, right? And around the time that we start making our picks for tonight, at least that's the hope. But anyway, next fight, dude. This is a good one. We got Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci taking on Jillian Robertson, dude. Jacksonville, UFC Jacksonville, June 24th.
Jillian Robinson getting right back on the horse, dude, ain't she? I mean, taking a fight already in June, so yeah, that's a pretty quick turnaround. What she just fought, was it last weekend? Weekend before. So yeah, for her to be taking that quick a turnaround, she says she's ready to make a move up into the top of the division. So she's able to get a win in her next fight. I mean, she very well could be moving into the top 10 of the division, and good for her, man. She's definitely turning her career around and using that grappling to her advantage.
Rip Rocky, that's what I did. Good, brother. My plan maybe worked out just a little bit then. Moving on up, Nick Dalby taking on the King of Kung Fu, Muslim Salikov. Care about that one? Dude, what is this next one?
No, not really.
All right. Ashley Evans Smith. I didn't know she was in the UFC still. She's going to be taking on Aileen Perez at bantamweight, dude.
Yeah, I had no idea Ashley Evans Smith is still in the UFC either. So that's news to me as well. Had no idea. But don't really care about the fight.
Hani Barcelo is going to be taking on Miles Johns. Care about that?
That's your guy, Hani Barcelos. So I know you're pumped up to see him fight next.
No. All right. That's this weekend. Joe Anderson Brito going to be taking on Hussein Askapov. Care about that?
No.
You don't know who that is. It's okay. Elizu Oleski dos Santos. I thought he was out of the UFC too. I'm going to be taking on Abubakar Nurmagomedov June 3rd.
Didn't he get? No, I thought he had like a PED suspension or something.
It's probably why then.
You'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty. He has some type of suspension or something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, dude! This was one of the ones I was most confident for this weekend. Our last bit of news right here before going into the picks and everything for this weekend. Brian Boom Kelleher is out. Journey Newson will now take on UFC newcomer Marcus McGee. So at a 140-pound catchweight. Dude, I was high on Boom this weekend, dude.
Damn.
But, I guess no longer, man. No longer.
Damn, that's tough, man.
It looks like Darknado was also on high on Boom this weekend as well, dude. So, man, that's upsetting.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. Big Boom fan, and he puts on a fun fight, but hopefully he can recover and have a quick turnaround.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That being said, let's jump into it, man. Fights for this weekend. So I forgot what I do here. I pull it up and I share my screen and we talk about the fights. That's what we do over here.
Hell yeah.
Said we go on to Tapology, dude, and I actually made a Tapology account the other day so I can start officially making my picks. If you want to be my friend on Tapology, I am the Golden Octagon. So, feel free to.
I didn't realize you can actually make an account with them.
You actually can't make a pick unless you have an account. I was like, I always just want to click which one I think is going to win, but I can't ever do it. So that being said, dude, this weekend we are at the Apex. We haven't been at the Apex in a little bit. Let me make sure my screen.
Yes,
sure.
Yeah, it's been all of a week since we've been to the Apex, man. So a long time.
I know, man. UFC Apex. We got 11 fights this weekend, dude, and maybe we might have 11. I'm not sure because UFC newcomers and everything. We got some female fights on here. You never know how those go. That being said, first fight of the night, we got Song Yadong taking on Ricky Simón at 135. We got Kaio, the natural Bahayo, taking on Mikhail Lord Olashejek. We got Cody Brundage taking on is he the black belt hunter still? Adolfo Vieira at 185. We got Juicy J, Julian Rosa taking on Fernando Padilla. We got Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima, and it's just two people fighting, y'all. I know it's a lot of names, but just two people. We got Josh Quinlan taking on Trey Waters. Dude, that's going to be a good one. I have strong opinions on this one as well, and I'll let you know why. We got Martin Boudet taking on Jake Collier. We got Cody Durden taking on my guy and another Dorian lookalike, Charles Energy Johnson. We got Stephanie Egger taking on Irene Aliskeva. And, dude, we have to talk about her. We have to talk about her. We got Journey Newson taking on Marcus McGee, as I said at the beginning. In our first fight of the night, curtain jerker, if you will. We got Haley Cowan taking on Jamie Lynn Horth from Canada. So that's where we're going to start right there and work our way up, dude. For someone that has yet to fight in the UFC, dude, I feel like we've talked more about Haley Cowan than most current UFC fighters, dude. What the hell are we doing? This girl cannot. Either she can't make it to the octagon or her opponent can't make it to the octagon. So real quick before we get started, pretty much thoughts on the card overall, just as a 11 fight card real quick before we get into it.
I mean, it's the week before pay-per-view, so I here lately, between the pay-per-views, the pay-per-views have been good themselves. The fight nights, some of them have delivered, some of them haven't. The week before pay-per-view, I'm not expecting a home run by any means, but it's a solid. If I'm giving it a 1 out of 10, I mean 6.5. I mean, I can't say quite a 7, but I can't say quite a 6 either. So a solid 6.5 out of 10 for this weekend. But that's not terrible for a fight night at the Apex.
All right, fair enough. Dartano, dude, I cannot say this name. D'Artagnan saying Song for the win. We will get to that, brother. And I don't think Whitaker can win against. I don't know. That is a strong opinion, brother. That is a strong opinion.
Very.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into it. Kaylee Cowan taking on all hell Haley Cowan taking on Jamie Lynn Horth, both UFC newcomers. However, Haley Cowan recently fought on the Contender Series and has had about 3 scheduled fights since then to be in the UFC. We'll see if this one happens. 7-2 Haley Cowan taking on 5-0 Jamie Lynn Horth. Near even. Pick 'em right now. -110 apiece. Dorian, feel free to correct me if the odds have changed. Haley Cowan 7-2, Jamie Lynn Horth 5-0. I don't know if I said that already, but Jamie Lynn Horth fighting out of Texas. Dude, look how crazy this sounds. Jamie Lynn Horth fighting out of Squamish, British Columbia, dude. That is a crazy sounding place. 31 years old, 31 years old, 5'8", and a 69-inch reach for Haley Cowan. 33 years old, 5'7", and 67-inch reach for Jamie Lynn Horth, dude. Jamie Lynn Horth fights at 125 and Haley Cowan fights at 135. This fight will be at bantamweight at 135. So Jamie Lynn Horth moving up. UFC newcomer moving up 5-0. Last fought in LFA. Dude, but I picked against Haley Cowan last time or I'm not sure if it was last time or the time before, when I picked Haley Cowan to lose against Aileen Perez and the fight didn't happen. And I don't think much of Aileen Perez, dude. I've watched a lot of stuff all week. A lot of people seem to be pretty high on Jamie Lynn Horth. So at a near pick'em, that's the one I'm riding this week. LFA, I believe previous LFA champion, dude, moving up to beat Haley Cowan. Give me your pick this week, man.
I know you had a pretty super detailed breakdown there. Obviously, I'll just get right quick to it. I think that experience is probably going to matter in this equation, and going back on all of Jamie Lynn Horth's fights, all of her fights have maybe gone no longer than, or she's gotten a lot of finishes, but in the third round. Haley Cowan, she is a tough girl. And I think that she will be able to, a little bit more of the size advantage, a little more youth, and she has a little bit more experience. I think Cowan, she gets it to the ground, wrestles, makes it a little bit slower, and gets the decision here. I don't know about putting in the pictures yet. Let's see how this goes. I'm not super confident, but let's say Haley Cowan for now.
All right, fair enough. Austin saying Haley Cowan wins his heart via stoppage round one. All right, brother. So first different pick of the day, I'm going Jamie Lynn Horth. D Rose going Haley Cowan. All right, brother. Moving on up. Next fight of the night, bro. I was super confident on Brian Boom Kelleher to beat Jeremy Newson, but man, this is upsetting. Journey Newson taking on Marcus McGee, dude, and I can't pretend I know anything about Marcus McGee. I've seen Journey Newson fight a few times. Been unimpressed with him. I've been unimpressed with him as his record shows, dude. Out of his past 5 fights, he's won 1 of them, lost 3 of them, and 1 of them was a disqualification, draw? It looks like no contest. I don't know. The fight probably got overruled for some reason, dude. Marcus McGee 6-1 in his last fight, or 6-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Where am I at? Jeremy Newson. Journey, dude, I cannot say this dude's name. His so weird of a name. Journey. I say that every time he fights too. Journey Newson, 34 years old, 5'5", 67-inch reach. Marcus McGee, the maniac, if you will, 32 years old, 5'8", 70-inch reach, dude. Let's do a little quick research on what Marcus McGee has to offer. Is he knocking fools out round 1? Because if so, I might take Marcus McGee via knockout. I guess we'll see.
I'll say quick. I don't care that much about this fight. I'll just say Journey Newsom. I'm not super invested in this fight. With Kelleher I was, but yeah, McGee I'm not really super invested. But let's just say Journey Newsom for the hell of it. We're definitely not using that in the picks because I'm super not confident in Journey Newsom. I feel much more confident in Haley Cowan than I would Journey Newsom.
Yeah, I think I might have to ride with you. I'm going to go on the Journey Newson side, too, just because I don't know shit about fucking Marcus McGee. I'm not going to pretend like I have this sharp pick for y'all when I don't know shit about him. This one I do have strong feelings on. Here we go. So me and Dorian both on Journey Newson right there. Wouldn't be too surprised if I was wrong, though, because I don't know shit about Marcus McGee. You feel the same, Dorian?
Yeah.
All right, moving on up. Next fight, we got Stephanie Egger taking on, dude, listen to this, Irene the Russian Ronda Alexeyeva, dude.
Oh.
Dude, and when you look at her record, guess how many armbar wins she has with her 4-1 record?
1.
She has 1 armbar, dude, and she calls herself the Russian Ronda, dude. Before breaking this down, I'm gonna let you know I'm picking this Stephanie Egger to win via armbar, probably round 1, if you ask me. But I'm picking Stephanie Egger to win via armbar for sure, though, to beat the Russian Ronda, the fake Russian Ronda, if you will. But anyway, Stephanie Egger 8-3, won 3 of her last 5. Alexeva only had 5 fights, won 4 of her last 5. Egger minus 300 favored. Russian Ronda plus 240 dog. Stephanie Egger, 34 years old, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. Russian Ronda is 32 years old, 5'8" with a 66-inch reach. So Russian Ronda, the bigger of the two girls, dude. As I said, Stephanie Egger, armbar. Which way are you going, man?
My man Kyle, give me a shout out. Let's go, baby. Told you we was coming back. My man believed in me. he believed.
Dude, it was so crazy because all the weeks that I had the champ, Kyle was never saying anything, dude. Like, he was never like, hey, man, good job this week. Silent. But when you finally win it back, Kyle's got something to say.
Because he knows who the real champ is. He knows who the real champ is.
He was probably taught by his parents really nicely. Hey, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, you know?
Number 1 pound for pound, brother. Number 1 pound for pound. But
right,
but no, for this fight, I mean, Alexeva, whatever it is, Russian Ronda, whatever she calls herself, Stephanie Egger. She is the shorter fighter, but has the 2-inch reach advantage, which is kind of weird to look at. But you know, as you said, you know, 8-3 record overall. You know, she's got good submissions. If Alexeva thinks she's going to go in and just, you know, take down Egger and thinks it's going to be just easy, yeah, she's definitely got another thing coming. I don't know if Stephanie Egger does absolutely get the submission, but I think she should be able to use her experience here and get the win.
If you like look back, she's like won all of her fights like by sub. She has like one like decision win, and that's it. So that's why I said like Stephanie Egger via armbar win, because that's pretty much how she wins. She takes these girls.
She got a couple of TKOs, honestly, too.
She fucking judo throws them and then arm bars them, dude. So it's like, that's how I see this fight going. That's the only way that I'm going to be betting this fight, because I would rather pull my toenails off than bet Stephanie Egger at minus 300, dude. No way.
Yeah, no way at all. That would have to be some type of anchor on a parlay, but yeah, even then, yeah, I would not feel super comfortable with that at all.
Kyle, number 1 pound for pound. Hey, I still gave that and still the last few weeks a little slight eye roll. Indeed, I will give you that.
He did.
I will give you that, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, going Egger here. But yeah, Kyle definitely shied you out. Even though, you know, wasn't the most excited about it, but definitely we bite.
And bro, I had the most fun little segment planned for this, and I was getting shit ready earlier, and I fucking ruined it. So I had to put it in the trash. And maybe we'll have one for next time, dude. Maybe we'll have one for next time. But it is another one that I'm strongly confident on this week, and I see a lot of people against me this week, and I'm ready to cash some cheddar this weekend. We got Cody Durden taking on Charles Energy Johnson. Cody Durden, 14-4-1, won 3 of his last 5. Charles Johnson, 13-4, also won 3 of his last 5. Excuse me. Cody Durden last fought down at flyweight. This is going to be at was this? Yeah, this is going to be at flyweight. Charles Johnson did fight at a catchweight. Short notice against Ode Osborne in his last fight, right? Yeah, Ode Osborne lost that via split decision. Cody Durden, 32 years old, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. Charles Energy Johnson, 32 years old, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. According to Tapology, Cody Durden plus 265 dog. Charles Energy Johnson minus 200 favorite. The odds still that, Dorian? I am really high on Charles Johnson. 3-year decision this week, brother. I'm not saying Cody Durden has a bad gas tank, but he tends to use a lot of gas in those first 2 rounds, and I don't see you getting Charles Johnson out of there at all, to be honest. So that being said, I got Charles Johnson, 3-year decision. That's probably my lock of the week. Which way are you going this week, man?
Yeah, and I think Charles Johnson, he's a little bit more the slicker of the two. Cody Durden, he does come out like a ball of fire, and he's got a couple finishes in his UFC career too. So he's definitely willing to go out there and go for the finish as well. But I just think overall, Charles Johnson, he's got a few more tools. He's got good footwork, good jab, good leg kicks. I think if he can make it a technical fight, I think Durden can see himself kind of getting behind, and as you said, get behind in a point fight with Charles Johnson. That'll be that's a bad recipe right there. And I think Charles Johnson, as you said, decision win here.
I'm surprised you don't have some sort of like sharp pick here because you usually pick against Charles Johnson getting wrestled, but
No. I mean, the only time I really picked against Charles Johnson was against O'Day Osborne, and that's just because I thought that O'Day, he was Charles Johnson taking the final short notice. But I mean, Charles Johnson, no, he's a good fighter, man. So no, he's good.
all right. We are both going Charles Johnson this week. Energy Johnson. Man, I was really hoping you'd pick Cody Durden there. Moving on up, next fight, we got Martin Boudet. We got two fat man. Let's be real. We got Martin Baddies Boudet taking on the prototype, or used to be the prototype, Jay Collier, dude. They finally updated his Tapology picture, dude. I remember like his last one, he was like shredded in. Like that is not the same person.
Fuck,
Who did you have take this Tapology picture? Anyway, Martin Boudet. 11-1, got gifted his last fight against Lucas Dresky, dude. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Won all 5 of his last 5 though. On paper, dude. Jake Collier lost 3 of his last 5, 13-8 overall. Martin Boudet, 31 years old, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. Jake Collier, 6'3". I'm sorry, 34 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach, dude. And the main difference here is Martin Boudet's a heavyweight. Like he can maybe make light heavyweight if he committed himself, dude. Jake Collier used to fight at 185, and he's just fat now, dude. You get finished by Chris Barnett because you just gas out, dude. I watched Martin Boudet fight a pretty tough fight. All 3 rounds a couple of times now, I think, right? Yeah, Chris Barnett and Lucas Dresky, dude. I have to go Martin Boudet here against fat Jake Collier. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I think Jake Collier, so he'll definitely be the more explosive of the two on the feet. He's got good boxing, got good he's actually got pretty sneaky like spinning back kicks. You might not expect that from him when you see his figure, but the dude's definitely got some good spinning back kicks. He snaps into the body pretty good too. But I do think that, as you said, Martin Boudet, he's a little bit more of a natural heavyweight. I think he's a little bit more used to moving around at that weight class. Jake Collier, I think he's just got a bunch of just additional excess weight, and I think he just rips at his gas tank a little bit. And I think Martin Boudet, being the more natural heavyweight, I think it'll just aid him in his gas tank to be able to get the win here.
Fair enough, dude. We are both on Martin Boudet this week, dude.
And Matt takes himself out again. Let's go. Oh man, the life of jumping in and out of the screen, trying to navigate the podcast. It's a rough world out here, man. Tough in these streets.
Y'all know how it happens. I was on the wrong screen when I clicked back.
Exactly what I said. I said, "Yep, here we go again. We know how it is. It's rough out here, man."
All right, so there we go on the right screen now, though. Am I at least sharing or no?
Yeah, we're there.
All right, so moving on along main card, dude. Main card. How many fights we got? 1, 2, 3. We had 6. We got 6 fights on the main card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we got 6 fights on this main card. Main card time, dude. We got Josh Quinlan Bushido taking on Trey the Truth Waters, dude. I've only seen Trey Waters think fight once, and it was on the Contender Series. Yeah, he lost against Gabriel Bonfim, dude. He did fight literally 1 week and 1 day ago against Jalen Fuller. Dude, I actually watched this fight. Trey Waters gets rocked early round one, like on not the worst fucking Kevin Lee legs, but on some Kevin Lee legs for just a little bit, dude. And he came back and knocked the dude out. I think it was like early round 2. So the dude, and dude, let me scroll down a little bit. He's 6'5" at welterweight. The dude probably cuts a ton of weight. No, like, Jesus Christ. And you fought a week ago. You cut all that weight and you got rocked in your fight going up against Josh Quinlan, who we've seen did just wreck dudes. He kind of seems to have that fucking death touch like Jack Della or fucking, in my opinion, Semi the Jedi, dude. Josh Quinlan, minus 180 favorite. Trey Waters, plus 145 dog. Josh Quinlan, 30 years old, 6 foot with a 72-inch reach. Trey Waters, 6'5" with a 77-inch reach, dude. Trey Waters is fucking massive, dude. Could get outpointed, but I'm going Josh Quinlan via knockout. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, I think the same. Yeah, Trey Waters. That is a crazy size, man. It's 6'5" going down to welterweight, dude. That's gonna be absolutely crazy. But as you said,
Quinlan, he's always fought a welterweight, though. That's his thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts, dude. But Quinlan's a thumper, dude, and I've been pretty. I'm not that I think he's going to be champ next week or anything like that, but definitely see a lot of potential in him moving forward at welterweight. And he's as you said, that death touch. He can, he touches dudes and he puts them out. So, and if he could just kind of add a little bit more to his game, could be even better. But I think he should be able to get the win here. And let's go knockout.
All right, both on Josh Quinlan this week, dude. We're all picking the same people this week, man. What's up? What's going on?
Well, our first couple ones we disagreed on. We might have to end up throwing those in as much as I don't. Geez Louise.
Hey, I wasn't confident last week, brother. I wasn't confident last week, but here we go this week. We got 2 people. We got 6 names, but 2 people. We got Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima, dude. We got Salsa Boy taking on Pezao. I have strong opinions on this one as well, brother. We are at heavyweight. Salsa Boy 9-0. Pezao is 20-8, dude. Salsa Boy a plus 115 dog. Pezao a minus 140 favorite, dude. Salsa Boy, Waldo Cortez Acosta, 31 years old, 6'4" with a 78-inch reach. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, or Pezao, is 37 years old, 6'1" with a 75-inch reach, dude. And I see a lot of people this week on Pezao, dude. I feel like I keep going first, but at the same time, I at least want to set it up for you, and I'm gonna let you have a pick worth picking for. I see a lot of people saying Pezao's got crazy power in his like fucking leg kicks. Like Waldo Cortez Acosta just gets leg kicked and he isn't going to last. The thing is, Pezao has fucking no gas tank, dude. He has like a round of gas max. And I've seen Waldo Cortez Acosta eat leg kicks for 3 rounds. I don't see anyone doing more damage over in 1 round that was done to him over 3 rounds. That being said, I think Marcos Rogerio de Lima might win round 1, dude. But then I think he's probably going to fall off a cliff, and then we're going to see a Salsa Boy with a Salsa Boy boxing up his face, dude. He has clean boxing. He throws hammers like baseballs, dude. I believe he was a Dominican baseball player that got kicked off the team for fighting, dude. He throws punches like Trevor Peak, dude. I'm going Waldo Cortez Acosta this week. That's the dog, man. Which way are you going?
Man, this is definitely one of the more fun fights on the card. I think this is probably low key, sneakily could be fight of the night. Both these guys go out there and bang.
That makes him tallest welterweight. Dude, how tall is Randy Brown? Because he's also up there too, right?
I think 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". So he's even taller than Randy Brown. Yeah, for sure.
Up there.
But this fight should be one of the fights of the night, dude. It should be a banger. And De Lima, he normally goes out there and throws absolute bombs looking to get dudes out of there. And as you said, he's got nasty leg kicks too. He's got good ground ability, got good jiu-jitsu. But his biggest thing is his gas tank. And Cortez Acosta, he's an athlete. I think he's a former pitcher coming out of the Dominican Republic playing baseball, and you could tell he's a natural athlete. But I think the biggest thing for him, he's just not the most clean fighter. But hey, he has gone 3 rounds in the UFC a couple of times now, so you can't really test as far as his gas tank goes. He has been able to go 3 rounds, but I'm wondering, and I kind of been bringing back to this a little bit in this whole card, but the experience.
I knew you was going to say
the experience factor. I mean, you're talking 30 fights, for De Lima compared to 9 for Cortez Acosta going to this point. So I do think that could be a big factor going in. How many times has Cortez Acosta met has someone met him in the middle and just thrown bombs on him like someone like De Lima can, and kind of mix it up a little bit. So I think that's one thing that can favor De Lima here, and I think De Lima gets it done. So give me De Lima here.
All right, brother. We'll have at least 3 different ones for sure. We've picked different at least 3 times, so we'll have 3 different ones for sure.
Yeah.
So that being said, we'll move on up. Hopefully, we'll have a few more that Dorian's a little bit more confident on. I'm going Waldo Cortez Acosta there. Dorian going Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Those are just one person each. Remember that. Next fight, we got Julian Juicy J Arosa taking on Fernando Padilla. Dude, Juicy J just now got head kicked, knocked out by Bruce Leroy. Yeah. Was that him?
Indeed,
it was.
Indeed. Yeah.
Right.
It was.
I get him confused with 5 other fighters. So
you remember like the delayed head kick? He kind of threw the cross and kind of threw the kick way after the fact, but it was such a clean knockout.
Yeah, I just get Arosa confused with 6 other people. So that's the
understandable.
Yeah, Julian Arosa, Juicy J taking on Fernando Padilla. Juicy J 28-10, won 3 of his last 5. Fernando Padilla 14-4, won 4 of his last 5. Juicy J slight favorite, -190 favorite. Fernando Padilla +160 dog. Juicy J 33 years old, 6'1" with a 74.5-inch reach. Fernando Padilla 26 years old, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. And Dorian, this is probably the one I'm least confident on this week, mostly because I feel like Juicy J just got knocked out 2 months ago. But I still might ride with him. I'm gonna let you go here first, man. Can you set it up and who you picking?
Yeah. So it was about 4 months ago for Julian Arosa, but I think your point still stands as far as it being kind of a quick turnaround for him. But I think the big thing for Fernando Padilla as well is his last fight was May of 2021. So and that he was fighting in Fury Fighting Championship. So nowhere near the level that Arosa has been fighting at. But one thing I do want to see is where Fernando has been off for that amount of time, and the UFC still giving him an opportunity. What do they see in this dude that he is that they're willing to give him an opportunity? And I think for Julian Arosa, I keep going back to the experience thing, but I think this time it can kind of work against Julian Arosa. He is a little more willing to go in there and bang it out with people rather than using maybe his full skill set like he maybe should. Is he the more talented fighter? I'd say yes, but he gets caught in a barn burner too much, man. And I think he can get cracked here. I don't know how super confident I'm going to feel putting this in the picks. I'd rather put the Haley Cowan pick, if I'm being honest, in this one. But, man, I think Fernando Padilla, if he can come in and get Julian Arosa in a brawl, there's a very good chance that he can knock him out. And if a young fighter like that, 26 years old, had 2 years off, the only thing I can think is that he's been working on getting better.
Nah, man. With this photo and braces, does he have braces? Those are for sure braces. Fernando Padilla's got braces still. Nah, I got Juicy J via decision this week. That's another different pick. I knew we'd have some different ones up here. And I know we're going to have a different one right here We've picked different on this one for so long, dude. We got Cody Brundage taking on Rodolfo Vieira. He is still the black belt hunter, dude. I'm curious if your opinion on this fight has changed over after seeing Mikhail Oleksiejczuk reverse Cody Brundage with ease and then just knock him out with 2 hammer fists. He just curled up. Anyway,
well,
we got.
I don't know if he just curled up, dude. Oleksiejczuk landed bombs on him when he crushed him with a ground and pound.
All right, moving on. Here we go. Cody Brundage, Rodolfo Vieira. Cody Brundage 8-3, Rodolfo Vieira 8-2. Cody Brundage won 3 of his last 5. Rodolfo Vieira also won 3 of his last 5. Cody Brundage plus 230 dog. Rodolfo Vieira almost a minus 300 favorite, minus 280. Cody Brundage 28 years old, 6 foot 72-inch reach. Rodolfo Vieira 33 years old, 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. Dorian, my opinion here hasn't changed. Set it up for the people. Let them know what you think. I'm going Rodolfo Vieira. I think you're muted, man.
Yeah, I was. But I think the thing for Brundage is, in his last fight against, Michel, I think that, 2 different fighters with Vieira and Michel, because that dude, he is coming out to, Oleksiejczuk, that dude is coming out to take your head off. And he has naturally had struggles against wrestlers. So when he fought at 205, he's naturally had trouble fighting against, and he was a lot smaller than the guys he was fighting against a light heavyweight as well. So he was getting taken down a lot in a lot of the fights that he was losing. So moving down to 185, he's got a little bit more strength and being able to hold his own against some of the guys. So I think that's how he was able to reverse position against Brundage. I think in this case, with the fight against Vieira, Vieira is definitely dangerous with the jiu-jitsu, but I just think he's a little bit basic in his boxing. I think he's a little bit more willing to take hits and maybe try to give one. And that the fluffy fight still kind of worries me from time to time. And and Chris Curtis boxed him up pretty good for the most part, man. I mean, Rodolfo Vieira did land some pretty good shots, but for the most part, you can land on Rodolfo Vieira pretty good. I think Cody Brundage is going to be the better athlete here. I'm surprised the line is as big as it is. I don't think Rodolfo Vieira has the power to put Brundage out like Oleksiejczuk does. So I think Cody Brundage is a better athlete here, and I think he can get it done. So give me Cody Brundage here. And we can throw this in the picks. I feel pretty good about that.
Do you mean tell you what, like the bookie sees, the same thing that I see, what I've seen from the beginning? Cody Brundage is a wrestler, dude. He loves to go for takedowns in every fight. He can't help it but to go for a takedown, dude. And you don't want to do that against Rodolfo Vieira, dude. I'm going to throw a bold prediction out there. This is what's going to happen. Rodolfo Vieira is going to hurt Cody Brundage. He's going to hurt him on the feet. Watch. He's going to hurt him. Rodolfo Vieira is going to hurt Cody Brundage with his power. Cody Brundage is going to shoot and then get submitted. I'm calling it right now. That's what's happening this weekend. And D Rose losing that pick champ. Moving on up. Next fight of the night. Co-main event of the evening. We were just talking about him. We got Caio Borralho taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Caio Borralho, the natural, the best neck tattoo in the UFC. Well, I guess Mikhail is no longer Lord Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. He is Hussar, or maybe that's Lord in a different language. Who knows? Caio Borralho, 13-1, won through all of his last 5 of his last 5. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk won 4 of his last 5. Caio Borralho, a minus 300 favorite. Mikhail plus 240 dog. Caio Borralho, 30 years old, 6'1", 75-inch reach. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, 28 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach. Dorian, Caio Borralho just done nothing but look good the entire time with control or anything else. I got Caio Borralho probably by decision here this week. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of my analysis in my last fight is going to kind of bleed over into this one a little bit, but I do think that, Oleksiejczuk, he does tend to struggle with the wrestlers a little bit more. But one thing I was actually kind of surprised about is that the height advantage is Oleksiejczuk. I know that's the guy that you said you've known to think that he's undersized in every fight, and for him to actually have the height advantage, man, that's pretty Hard to say. Yeah, no, Kyle, no, you're 100% right. Kaio's fights have been hard to watch, to say the least. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of energy in his post fights and
you
his
feel
walk.
like he could finish. He's so close. He just doesn't.
Well, out of that, you can see that he lands like a good kick or he lands a good punch, and you're like, oh, okay, I want to see more of that. And all of a sudden, he goes for a takedown, and it's like he can advance position, and he almost doesn't. And yeah, that's some of the frustrating parts about him. But I think he's just so well rounded, and I think that's what's going to give Ola Chaychak the most trouble here. So I just think he's going to end up using his wrestling, taking Ola Chaychak down, and getting the decision win. So give me Kaio here.
All right, Dorian going against his guy, Lee Lord Mikhail Olashejek this week. So moving on up, main event, dude. I feel strong about this one, and I'm taking the dog. But before we get started, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button for us. We're here on the main event. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, come on, help us out. Leave all your positive thoughts and questions in the comments. We'll pop them up on the screen, all that good shit. But Dorian, we got Song Yadong. Dude, one of your favorite fighters. You've been high on Song for a while. The Kung Fu Kid. Going to be taking on Ricky Simon, dude. And I heard something earlier in this week, and it had me thinking, dude. I heard that when Song took his first MMA fight, dude, he was letting on to be like 15 years old when he was actually around that 20-year-old mark. So he might actually be around that 30-year-old mark right now. He might not actually be 25 years old. Heard some little rumors like that. It wouldn't surprise me too much because if you like look at his like first MMA fight, it says like 9 years ago, and he's 25 years old, dude. Like, I just have a hard time believing you're fighting pro at 15 years old, dude. I don't see it.
Dude,
anyway,
look at Raul Rosas. Dude, wouldn't Rosas fight professional 16, 17 years old?
Man, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I just have a hard time believing it. But 10 years ago, though?
I mean, if he's 25, 9 years ago, I mean, 16, I mean, yeah, Raul Rosas was taking fights at 16, 17 years old.
But was anyone fighting that young that long ago in MMA?
I'm not for sure as far as in the UFC. He hadn't been in the UFC since he's been about 19. So he's been in the UFC since about 2017, 2018 or so. So he hadn't been in the UFC for that long.
I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if Song's age was incorrect. He may be falsifying that just a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me too much. Anyway, Song Yadong, Kung Fu Kid, take him on Ricky Simon. Song Yadong, 19-7-1, won 3 of his last 5. Ricky Simon won 5 of his last 5, 20-3 overall. Song Yadong plus 110 dog. Ricky Simon minus 140 favorite. Song Yadong might be 25, might be 30. Who knows? 5'8" with a 67-inch reach. Ricky Simon is 5'6" with a 70-inch reach. Dorian, break it down here. Who you going?
Man, this is definitely a tough fight to call for me because, as you said, big Song Yadong fan, and I do think that I believe in his ability. He's got good wrestling. Of course, his boxing is very crisp, good power, good kicks. He's very well rounded, trained at a Team Alpha Male. But man, Ricky Simón, he's really tend to kind of put it together his last few fights, and he's gotten as you said, 5-fight win streak, beat Jack Shore, who was a pretty big up and comer, knocked out Rafael Sunsao. He submitted Jack Shore as well, so. And he's been getting a lot more finishes in his last few fights. He only fought once last year, so I thought that was pretty surprising. But he's been in the UFC for a long time. He's beaten guys like Murad Dvalishvili and a couple guys like that as well. 30 years old, so he's definitely right at the prime of his career right now, kind of putting everything together. But man, it's so hard for me to call this. But man, Uriah Faber did did knock out Ricky
him.
Simón.
An old Uriah Faber.
Yeah, and it was Uriah's first fight back in a long time, and Uriah did crack him.
I think that was the first time he's ever gotten, first and last he's ever gotten fucking knocked out too, was that fight.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, and I know he argued about it being an early stoppage, but no, Uriah Faber definitely put it on him. I do think there could be some team alpha male ties there as far as Uriah Faber mainly being able to kind of show Song how to set up his shots. Dude, I think Song coming off that last fight against Sandhagen, if people, if you remember correctly, dude, Sandhagen won that fight, but he won that fight. It was 3 rounds of 2, and it was 2-2 going into that 5th round, and Sandhagen had to pour on the gas in the 5th round in order to win. Song was in that fight for every bit of it. And I think just because he lost, I think people are kind of disregarding him. And I think where he's so young, 25 years old, he's only getting better right now, man. And I think that 5-round experience in his last fight, I think is going to help aid him in this fight. I think Song wins, man. I do. I think Ricky Simón's definitely got the tools to win for sure. But I believe in my guy, man. I believe in Song, and I think he's going to get it done.
You're going against your loyal supporter here, Kyle. I would never bet against Ricky. I would never bet on a Ricky fight, but I can't help but lean towards him here, dude. I can't read.
It's been a long pod.
I mean, not really. It's pretty much one of our rather short ones, to be honest.
Well, true.
But yeah, dude, I am going Song here. I think Song knocks him out, but that's just me. I think Uriah Faber's going to just be drilling the same thing that he knocked out fucking Ricky with, because they got smart game plans over there. They know how to beat him. I'm going Song by knockout. So that being said, dude, let's make our picks.
Man, I thought you were going to pick. I really thought you were going to pick Ricky Simón there. I'm not going to lie. That surprised me.
Hell no.
That is surprising.
So our first different pick of the night going to be Cody Brundage taking on Rodolfo Vieira, yeah?
We'll use that. Yep.
Do you want to do Erosa versus Padilla?
What about DeLima and Cortez Acosta?
Yeah, so 1-2. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Marcos Rogerio DeLima. I am going Waldo Cortez Acosta. Dorian going DeLima. And
Haley Cowan.
Okay, so our 3 different picks. Starting at the featured fight of the night, Dorian going Cody Brundage. I am going Rodolfo Vieira. Second different pick going to be Waldo Cortez Acosta. I am going Waldo Cortez Acosta. Dorian going Marcus Rogerio DeLima. And our third and final different pick, or our first one, going to be the first fight of the night. Dorian going Haley Cowan. I am going the Canadian. Where was she from? Squamish, British Columbia. Jamie Lynn Horth. Give me Jamie Lynn Horth this week, and to win me the pick champ. Probably gonna sweep old D Rose this week if I can count on Rodolfo Vieira to get it done. If he shows up, I'm confident. So looks like you have the underdog here in Brundage. I have the underdog in Costa.
I have the biggest underdog, and I have 2 dogs.
You don't have 2 dogs.
Yeah, Haley Cowan's a dog, ain't she?
I thought that was an even fight. It's like 110 apiece.
Is it 110?
Yeah, 110 apiece. Yeah. So it's
that's fair.
It's good. We have an even fight. You got a dog, and I got a dog. But you're really confident in Cody Brundage this week. So hey, it is what it is. Those are going to be our 3 different picks. I am taking that strap back this week, dude. I don't care what you got to say about it.
Nah, tell him, Kyle. We already know what it is, man. Tell him, Kyle. It's going to stay right here. Stay right here with the champ, and still next week. We feeling good about the picks this week too. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, you felt real good about the one. You're like, man, I don't want to throw that one in there. Man, I don't want to throw that one in there.
I didn't feel good about the Haley Cowan one. So that's the only one that I'm like, let's go, Kyle. You got to tell these boys. You got to tell them. You got to make sure they know. But yeah, Haley Cowan, I'm not super confident on. But hey, like I said, experience. Let's go. And Cody Brundage, he's a better athlete than Vieira. Man, I just need I just need that one. Maybe DeLima might fuck around and slip up and burn his gas tank in the first round, but I think Brundage and Cowan can bag it for me.
All right, man. Before we close out of here, I'm gonna let you know, dude, right now I have a 9-leg parlay already made it last night, dude. I put $5 on this 9-leg parlay, straight up 9 legs. It is 9 legs plus 10,350, $5 to win $522. It starts off like this. Jamie Lynn Horth straight up. Well, I guess Brian Boom Kelleher is no longer in that, but it had all of them straight up. It was Jamie Lynn Horth, Brian Boom Kelleher, Stephanie Egger, Charles Johnson, Martin Boudet, Josh Quinlan, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Kaya Bahayo, and Song Yadong. Dude, that was my $5 9-leg, dude. All the ones that I was confident in, they're going to get them done. And Brian Boom Kelleher fell out. So I suspect that one will probably drop like $5 to win like 300 or something like that. So I'm really hoping that I can win that one this week. You got any strong feelings this week, dude?
Man, I'm probably gonna wait until a little bit later in the week. Probably do your technique. Maybe wait until the weigh-ins. Try to get a better gauge on what I feel about the fights. Because gambling wise, I'm not super confident just yet. I mean, I know I feel good about a couple overs in some of the fights, but for FanDuel, none of the props at least that I had seen have been released just yet. So probably wait till this weekend and try to cash on some of those.
Yeah, not yet. Just 2 that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on, waiting for them to drop. Charles Johnson in 3 or decision, or just round 3 finish. I'm probably going to have a little sprinkle on that. But probably 3 or decision will probably go in the majority of my parlays just to cover both bases there. And another one that I'm going to keep my eye on, once again, Stephanie Egger via decision. That's what I'm going to keep my eyes on. Also, the Marcus Rogerio de Lima versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. That fight to go over 1.5. I know that's probably what they're going to drop it at, and that's what Waldo does. He goes over 1.5. Does Marcos gas? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But I think even if de Lima wins, I think there's a good chance that fight could go over because, as you said, Cortez Acosta, he's tough as can be. So should like I said, I think that'll actually end up being fight of the night. So yeah, that 1.5. Hopefully it does, and I'd feel pretty good about that one as well.
Oh, fucking D-Rose trying to blind me with his gold there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get out of here. For those of you who don't know, I'm here multiple times per week. I am Matt from the Golden Octagon. Let me take off this banner. Matt from the Golden Octagon. Once again, here multiple times per week. Dude, UFC card videos. I'm here every Wednesday with my man D Rose talking some UFC fights. We make our picks like we just did, and we talk a little junk along the way. Usually I tell him his picks are shit, but I can't really tell him his picks are shit this week because he is the pick champ. But yeah, that being said, I have a video that came out earlier today. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch that. I do a giveaway. So if you guys are interested in free UFC cards, make sure to follow the rules, get yourself some free UFC cards. But most important thing is I will be here live Friday announcing that winner. And then Friday night, I have my first UFC Prism box break. UFC 2023 Prism comes out Friday. My boxes are on the way. I got the shipping notification earlier. So we will be breaking into that Friday around that 8:30 p.m. So yeah, that's going to be a blast. Can't wait for 2023 Prism. I know Dorian couldn't care less. He has no clue I'm talking about. But with that being said, I appreciate every single one of y'all for stopping by here today. Thank y'all as always. We truly appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I am Matt. D Rose is on that side of your screen. Anything before we get out of here, Matt?
And still next week, baby.
Yeah, and still. All right. Fair enough. That's going to be all from us. Matt, D Rose. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
We out.